So, as you guys know, Virginia voted to barely pass to redistrict their state under new Governor Abigail Spanberger, who ironically ran as a moderate, but then immediately turned around and did some of the most radical things. But anyway, it was struck down by a lower court, and now the Supreme Court is taking it up, and it's not looking good for Virginia. And we also have some great news from a couple of red states that I think we should talk about as well. So before we hop into it, make sure you guys smash that like button, and let's hop right on into it, shall we?
Oral arguments begin today in Virginia as a redistricting battle lands in the state Supreme Court.
All right, let's get to Stephanie Ramirez. She's standing by in the newsroom with the latest for us.
Good morning, Steve, Marissa, and we know this is a battle of national proportions. It could possibly change the political balance of the U.S. House depending on the outcome. This is a Republican challenge to Virginia's new congressional map approved by voters last week. Legal challenges were expected, multiple already filed before the election day. The referendum vote narrowly passed last Tuesday. Republican challengers argue that the Democratic-led process violated Virginia's constitutional requirements for amendments. They claim a proposed amendment actually has to be approved by two separate General Assemblies with a statewide election in between. Virginia Republican lawmaker Ren Williams spoke with Fox Digital, claiming the court has already set Republicans up with relief, and he says there are previous cases that support the challenges. Virginia Democratic Attorney General Jay Jones is handling the emergency repeal. Jones previously speaking with Fox 5.
All I'll say is that Virginia did not start this. It obviously started in other parts of the country, but we are a very proud state, and we, are the birthplace of American democracy. And I value the right to vote.
I love when Democrats come out here and say that, oh, well, we didn't start this. Trump started this. Really? So what about the Illinois map? That has been gerrymandered like crazy in Democrats' favor for quite some time now. What about that? They never want to talk about that. Never. Interesting.
As one of those sacred rights that we are endowed with. I sit across the dinner table from people who were denied the right to vote just because of the color of their skin. And so, for us to have the opportunity to go participate, to make our voices heard about our representation in Washington, I think is really important. I think it's really special.
And at the heart of this, we know, guys, is 4 additional U.S. House seats Virginia Democrats could possibly add ahead of the November midterm elections if the state Supreme Court sides with the referendum outcome. Florida is the next state to enter the redistricting battle. A special session begins there tomorrow. Steve?
Yeah, and it's not looking good for Democrats in Virginia because apparently they violated their state's constitution by doing this. Check it out.
Texas didn't violate the law when they decided to redistrict. Oklahoma didn't violate the law when they decided to redistrict. Virginia did. And here's what I mean by that. For those of you who don't know, in Virginia, whenever you try to change the Constitution, because, oh, by the way, in 2020, we voted on a ballot referendum, just like the one that just got voted on. We voted on it to say we no longer want politicians drawing the lines. And 65% of Virginians voted to say we want an independent or a quasi-independent commission to draw the line. So that's what we did. And the lines that were given to us were lines that probably slightly favored Democrats, but overall they weren't horrible. They weren't bad, right? And again, it wasn't politicians drawing all the lines. And then you fast forward, and now Democrats are saying, no, now that we're in charge, we want to change it back, and we want to draw the lines, and we want to make Virginia the worst gerrymandered state in the country. Well, if you want to do that, you could. And here's what you would have done. During the normal legislative session, you would have submitted a joint resolution, in order to offer a ballot referendum. And then that would have passed the House, it would have passed the Senate, and if it passed both bodies, then what would have happened is you would have had an intervening election. And then after that intervening election, you would have taken the exact same resolution with the exact same language, passed through the House, passed through the Senate. And then it would have gone to a ballot referendum that would have showed up on the ballot in November. That's what would have happened. So is that what happened this time? No. No, they didn't submit this during regular session. They actually called a special session, or they pulled us back into a special session, and they submitted this legislation, this resolution. Now, you could argue, well, okay, is that still within their purview? It would have been shady, but theoretically, yeah, you could have legally justified that, except for the fact that we had already started voting in that intervening election, which is supposed to take place between the resolution initially passing the legislature and then being resubmitted the following year. Over 1 million Virginians had already voted in the intervening election. I'm sorry, that's illegal. That's a violation. It was Democrats that said, we want to have 45 days of early voting. Republicans didn't say that. They did. And so we pointed out, it's like, okay, but the problem is you're supposed to have an election in between, and that election has already started. And they just said, no, it's election day. The whole reason you have an intervening election is so that citizens can be aware of what their legislature is trying to do with respect to changing the Constitution, and they can let their voices be heard if they don't like it. But if 1 million Virginians have already voted, you arguably have races that have already been decided. And so we pointed out this is a clear violation. They didn't care. We also pointed out that it is right there in Virginia law that the clerks of the court have to have 90 days before the intervening election to tell everybody what is going on. We were already within 90 days of the election when they decided to pass this. Another clear violation of Virginia law. And there was other things that were of concern as well. For instance, did you know that when you actually write the ballot question, you're supposed to use politically neutral language? You're not supposed to stack the deck in favor of one side or the other side. You're simply supposed to explain in very clear English what your legislation would do. But instead, they added this, hey, do you want to vote to restore fairness? And, so let me get this straight. Everybody who voted no voted against restoring fairness? You're not even, it is illegal to use that language.
So, not surprised that Democrats, wanted to cheat because they can never win without it. That's probably going to get denied by Virginia Supreme Court. It is a state constitutional issue. It's not going to go up to, the United States Supreme Court. It's going to end at the state level, and it's not looking good. And more than likely, it will be struck down. So all of that hoopla that Democrats were, shouting about, oh, look, we got Virginia, it's probably going to go right out the window. Now we got some great news behind that, though, and that is the great state of Florida. Yeah, we got some redistricting going on. Old DeSantis, he's fighting back.
Proposed redistricting maps that Governor Ron DeSantis' office has just released, sharing those maps with Fox News. And so we're getting a first look at those. Let me give you a look at this map right now. A lot of red, as you see there.
What a beauty. What a beauty. Ain't that beautiful?
Would actually bump up the Republican advantage in the state when it comes to congressional districts from what is currently 20-7, or was 20-8 before the vacancy of Sheila Phyllis McCormick, a Democrat from South Florida who just resigned, and essentially created to be a Republican advantage of 24-4. So that's kind of what you are looking at there right now. Obviously, these maps coming out just a day before the start of the special session in Tallahassee, where lawmakers are going to discuss redistricting and a couple of other topics as well. But
24-4. Man, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And here is kind of how they did it, how they went about it. This is the numbers in the old districts, and these are the new numbers. So obviously, a lot of the, for example, deep red districts, plus 17, you had to take a little bit, right? You had to take some in order to make some of these other areas flip. I mean, you had a Democrat plus 17 that's flipped to a Republican plus 6.8, right? You had a deep red by 28, almost 30 points. That's now down to 5.8, just under 6. Okay. Similarly here, You got a Democrat plus 19. Let's flip to a 2.8. So very slim, but a much greater shot at making this red versus this. I mean, you've almost got no shot turning this red at a minus 19. You got no shot. But even some of these blue districts, right, that are still left, which you see here, it's only plus 3 or minus 3, I should say. Minus 5. This is plus. So minus 5 and minus 3, that's flippable. That is flippable. You can, so I mean, we may be looking at a map that isn't 24-4. It may be 26. Right? We could flip the two of those. 26-2, maybe. So who knows? Who knows? Also, the Supreme Court approves Texas's congressionally redrawn map. So here is the new map of Texas. What a beautiful sight. What a beautiful sight. What a beautiful sight. Look at that. Make these districts real small around some of these deep blue cities. Mash in all the Democrats in that one little area and create a bunch of red around it. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I think I saw something about Mississippi wanting to redistrict as well. Or was that Louisiana? There was another southern state, maybe even a couple of them, that was talking about redistricting as well. So Democrats might have just stepped in it. They might have just stepped in it with this Virginia thing because Virginia's getting struck down. Florida's about to approve a map. Texas map has already been approved. And let's see. Mississippi. Mississippi is possibly going to add 1 or 2 more seats. So, yeah. Absolutely beautiful. They started it. We just going to finish it. All right? Anyways, thanks for tuning in as always. I greatly appreciate all of the continued love and support. Once again, guys, if you don't get my notifications or my videos don't pop up in your feed, just check back in on the channel daily. I drop videos every single day, 2 long format videos and typically 2 to 3 shorts. Make sure you're checking out my YouTube shorts. There's some gems. There's some absolute gems. Like I said, I typically drop 2 or 3 of those every single day. Little clips that are like 3 minutes or less. I mean, literally, I have so many shorts. You could literally sit and just watch my shorts all day long. Not even kidding. I probably have over 2,500 YouTube shorts. Probably close to 3,000 YouTube shorts alone. It's crazy. So lots and lots and lots of content. So if you guys aren't watching my YouTube shorts, definitely check those out. All right? Stay safe out there. Peace and love.